Alright everybody, hello and welcome to a hydroponics lesson, building your, possibly, first hydroponic system. Let's get to it. Here we see our system that we designed. It is a 2-bucket system, growing a lovely, tiny baby avocado, or aguacate. And where did he start? In this jar here. He lived 2 months inside the jar. Per figure A, he was suspended above the water of the jar using 2 whittled down chopsticks that were inserted into his seed. So you can see the roots grow down and the avocado tree grows up. Now, we will also discuss many aspects, including the pump, the 2-bucket system, and the type, which leads us to some vocabulary. We are using a 2-bucket system as there are 2 buckets. One of the buckets, the one on the right, the orange bucket, is the reservoir. There is also an air pump to aerate the roots. A medium, which in our case is volcanic rock purchased from Lowe's. Maybe some error to discuss there. Should we have bought something better? We are using a T5 light to provide light, a shower board reflector which reflects the light downwards, and we will discuss the nutrients or the fertilizer. And maybe did we make an error there? What type now of system do we use? We have a deep water culture, or DWC, mixed with a top drip system or continuous drip system. And eventually we will discuss the NFT system using our theoretical model, which we will make in the future. Let's get to it. Here we see our system with a bunch of cords running in and out of it. First, let's talk about the bottom. The 2 buckets, the reservoir and the normal one, are connected. Per figure B, the entire system is self-leveling. If you add water to one bucket, it flows through the tube into the other bucket, raising the water level of the other bucket. The 2 buckets are essentially one. They are the same. The water level is always the same in the 2. The way that they were connected was through these adapters here and 1/2-inch tubing. And what about up top? Here we see a power cable running from the wall to our pump. This is a 80-gallon per minute pump that moves water from the reservoir tank, the orange tank, over into the place where our plant is. It moves it through this tube to a T adapter where we have hooked up a ring. If you look back, you can see the ring, and if you look closely, you can see where we cut holes into the side of the ring, allowing nutrient-filled water to saturate the rocks, the volcanic rocks, which act as the medium, providing the roots with nutrients. This is the aspect of the top drip system. And what about the deep water culture, or DWC? Well, you know that the water is the same in both buckets. So, in this bucket, the water is about the same. And the roots go down into a bucket, or a hat, or a basket, whatever you want to call it, a mesh basket that the roots can go down and sit inside the water, per figure C. This is the deep water aspect of it. As you can see, the water is very deep, and the roots go down into the water, getting the nutrients from the water itself. So we have 2 sources of nutrients for our roots. Finally, we also have the air pump plugged into the wall, takes air through this clear tube, and goes down into an aerator stone, which is a heavy stone that is porous, that the air tube plugs into and bubbles up. If you listen, you can hear the bubbles, and maybe see some of them in there. It bubbles up life-giving oxygen and air to the roots. Now, let's discuss our nutrients, or our fertilizer. We purchased Aqua Vega brand A and B. So it's 2 different nutrients. And they both have a different NPK number, which is this number over here, 034 and 502, which refers to, as per figure D, the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium percentages inside the bottle. Now, let's discuss the Ferrari versus scooter theory. If you go to your local hydroponics store and ask them to buy some hydroponics or ask them for advice, they will give you a lot of things to discuss. And they will definitely say, well, kind sir, step right in and you can purchase plenty of our very expensive but very nice specialty hydroponic items. And they might also give you a little pep talk. Well, sir, would you rather be driving the Ferrari to school or work or wherever the heck you drive to? Would you rather be driving the finest, fastest machine in town? Or would you rather go to Lowe's or Home Depot and purchase generic, crappy, scooter quality items? Good question. Let's talk about it in the context of our medium. What did we say we purchased? It was the volcanic rock from Lowe's. And we ran into some problems because the brand name or the specialty hydroponic medium is something called expanded clay pellets. These are small, maybe half-inch hardened clay pellets that absorb water that the plant's roots can sit in. What are the problems that we found with purchasing the scooter, if you will, as opposed to the Ferrari, which is the expanded clay pellets? Well, our volcanic rocks are sharp. They can hurt the roots. They're kind of big, so they're hard to stack up. They fall over. They don't provide great support. And finally, we don't know the pH of them. We're not sure if they're pH neutral, and we don't have a pH tester yet for our system, so we might be giving acidic or maybe even basic rocks into our water. So we're a little worried there. Long story short, the rocks are cheap. They're $3 for a big bag, but go ahead and check mark, buy the Ferrari for the medium, get the clay pellets. Now, what about the fertilizer? That one is more tough. Well, we know the NPK rating of all fertilizer because it says the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium content per those three numbers that you are now well aware of. But there are other elements inside the fertilizer that may or may not be listed. These are micronutrients to the plant, calcium being a very famous one. And we're not quite sure always what the different brands have. So a lot of users online, hydroponic growers and even professional hydroponic websites, are using regular old Miracle Grow or non-specialty hydroponic nutrient/fertilizer. What's the final verdict? Well, we're pretty sure from the research that we've done that you don't need specialty fertilizer. It makes it easier. Supposedly you don't have to think about what you're adding, but the answer's up to you. Do a little more research and maybe make a comment if you know the exact answer to our question. Now, what else can we discuss here? Well, we mentioned the NFT, or nutrient film technique. What exactly is that? It's not what we have. We have a deep water culture mixed with a continuous drip or top drip system. But we can arrive here. Our theoretical model for a new project, the small scale kitchen/countertop NFT or nutrient film technique system. Here we have water shown in blue inside of a reservoir at the bottom with a pump which pumps water up as per the arrows into 3-inch PVC pipe with holes cut in it and small little baskets, the same that we have for our large basket for our avocado. These small little baskets can hold anything that you want, preferably, since it's a kitchen, tiny herbs or maybe even tomatoes or strawberries would be able to fit inside. You put the plants there, the water flows down through the PVC pipes. You can arrange them with whatever you want, shelving or just hang them up with string. The water flows down through the pipes, one to another, and coats the roots or films the roots with nutrients. Also, you might want to include a bubbler in the reservoir, as this also keeps the roots aerated. So, hope you enjoyed it. Any questions? Go ahead and post them on the wall. And finally, we will give you one last shot of our lovely T5 lighting with shower board. T5 light shining on our little avocado. And what is shower board, you may ask? Well, tune in to other videos where we show you how to make this whiteboard-like material that you can buy at Lowe's or Home Depot into a full, beautiful whiteboard. It's also good for reflecting. Have a good night.